I think probably a lot of people, and we'll kind of move back to the future in a little bit, but probably a lot of people are here because they have some questions about how the last election unfolded. This is just a sample of some of the documents that were filed in the days after the election. I wonder, you guys are in an unusual position. That's part of why you're here. No other elections ended this closely in the South Bergen area. Were you surprised by the result that it ended up within one vote?
Well, I mean, actually, it didn't wind up to one vote. What happened was the United election, I believe John Parnofiello had 171 absentee ballots. I'm not sure if it's 171 or 187. And my running councilman, John Genovese, and me, we had 150 absentee ballots. And on the night of the election, at 10 o'clock at night, I was told that the absentee ballots were counted, and I actually won by 12 votes.
Who gave you that information?
I spoke to it, I believe, it was in Cardone, the head of the election, when I called up there. Now, I didn't ask him his name, but I recognized his voice after speaking to him later. And when I woke up the next day, me and John Parnofiello, we were dead even. And I don't know how that happened. I mean, between 10 o'clock at night and 10 in the morning, everything just changed. And what happened was we had I asked for a recount, and Mr. Parnofiello said he would do the same thing. And we were on the same page that the way the numbers were going up and down it was like a seesaw. 2 days later, they said I was down by 2 votes. Then they said I was down by 1 vote. So what I did was, what I wanted to do was just to look at everything and to see who really won the election. Just, whatever was fair. If it was John or if it was me, I was okay with that. And then when I looked at the absentee ballots, I noticed that they were sent all over the place. Me and my running partner, John Genovese, we didn't send in one absentee ballot. I was voted by mail. I'm sorry to say, voted by mail. We didn't do one of that, and there's nothing wrong with doing that. So, I looked at, I'm not going to say any names, but I looked at the one name. Like if people are away in college or if they're in the military, they could vote. But once they sell their homes and they purchase a house someplace else, they can't come back here and vote because the people that live in Rutherford have to elect the people in Rutherford. I had one person that moved to Freehold. The wife voted down to Freehold, and he came up here and voted. There was like nothing on my part that we did anything wrong. People do make mistakes. At the end of the day, and I spoke to John about this, and he told me he was aware of it, and I believe him. The attorneys, me, John, and the 2 attorneys should sat down, and we should have presented the evidence that we found.
How many contested votes did you eventually feel that you had?
I had 8 votes.
That should have been for you, or 8 votes contested total?
8 votes that we know that didn't vote for me, that voted for John Parnofiello, did not live in town here. So, like I said, it was wrong, and the vote, someone's vote is very important, and that's our democracy. And that's the only reason why I fought the whole election, because if me or John, either one of us lost, and we ran in June, one of us would have probably got reelected. Our name was out there already. This was more of it was a lot of time, it was a lot of energy, it was a lot of stressful on both sides.
Let's go back to you, John. What was it like for you? How did you find the results of the election?
Well, like we were saying, we go back to election night. there was some uncertainty as to, the results were so close. I recall a conversation that I had the next morning because we knew that the official results weren't in yet. So I said, okay, I'll sleep on it, deal with it, however I have to deal with it. And, I put in a call to the borough clerk's office, and they said, you'll never believe this, you're tied. So, out of 5,000 whatever votes it was, to be tied, is a pretty unusual circumstance. So to deal with a tie kind of gave me a crash course on election law and election procedure. We had a provisional count the next week that gave me a slight margin, and then the election was certified, I think about 3 days later. So, to be given word that you won by one vote, obviously will cause some looking into, and it is what it is, and I think it's a testament to me and Todd, that we must have ran a pretty good campaign if we were so close and got the votes that we received. So, from there it got a little more complicated, but at the end of the day, both parties agreed that there were some procedural errors all the way through with the official number, and we both agreed to the terms set forth by the judge, and here we are.
Now, you were actually sworn in January 1st. Why did you decide to not continue, or to kind of give up the victory?
Well, on January 1st, with the swearing in, with the results being certified, it was my obligation to be sworn in until it was determined otherwise that we needed to either have a new election or that there was some improprieties with the results. So I was simply somebody reporting, for the first day of work until being told, to go home for a little while. So that's basically what happened.